I get this question a lot. Why is it so challenging to do film design? I don't understand. My name is Sarah Kogan. I am a film designer and I teach filmmakers about world building and the fundamentals of film design so that they can create the worlds they want to see on screen. I want to walk you through why it's so difficult to visualize, and this will help you understand why film design is important for your stories. Right now, the industry tends to think of film design as a luxury. The reality, though, is film design is a necessity. Here's an example of how we visualize. Let's take this scene, right? Interior, Joe's apartment, day. Joe sits on the couch watching TV when there's a knock on the door. Voice, hey, open the door. All right, so what do we know based on what we have here in the script? We know we're in Joe's apartment. We know that there's a couch in the apartment. There's a TV. There's a door of some kind. So is this the apartment? Is this the apartment? Is this Joe's apartment or is this Joe's apartment, right? The reality is based on what is in the script right here, we don't know. It could be any of these, right? So our job as a filmmaker is to figure that out. And then the next question becomes, well, who's Joe, right? I mean, is Joe short for Joseph or Josephine, or is it just literally Joe, right? So is this guy Joe? Is this lovely lady Joe? Or is this gentleman Joe? We don't know, right? It could be any of these things. And based on who's Joe and what their apartment looks like, the context and understanding of the story and the scene that's taking place and the overall film completely changes, right? So the reason this is because we perceive our worlds not in terms of absolutes, but rather as changing contextual relationships. This is from Herbert Zetzel's book, Sight, Sound, and Motion. Everything is about how things relate to one another. And film design helps fill in that gap, because film design is about creating those first impressions and then showing how they transform over time, right? How do our characters change? So let's look at this context again in action. If this is our Joe, then if she's in this seedy apartment, it doesn't really align with our expectations. And we go, something's going on here, right? Why is this really posh woman in this really dingy basement apartment? We have questions. Whereas if she was in one of these penthouse apartments, they feel more in line and more congruent with how she addresses herself. So things become a little more of what we anticipate. So that's just one example of it. Here's another example. Let's take this gentleman. If this is our Joe and he's in one of these posh apartments, we're wondering, well, what kind of mobster is he? Is he, involved in something illicit? Like, he seems kind of to be out of alignment with these environments. Whereas if he was in the seedy apartment, maybe go, oh, there's something going on. Maybe he's a part of the underground, right? So what is that about? And again, it's just the person that we choose as the character and how they're dressed and the way we see them and as they relate to the space in which they're in. Nothing else has changed. Joe is still sitting on a couch. There's still a knock at the door. They're still watching television and there's a voice, right? That's all the same. The reason this is important is because of the cognitive science behind storytelling. In Lisa Cron's book, Wired for Story, she says, since the brain abhors randomness, it's always looking to convert raw data into meaningful patterns, the better to anticipate what might happen next. You see, film design is all about telling your audience what's coming up next. They're looking to understand the relationships that are in front of them, the world in which the characters are in, because as people, that is how we navigate the world. And we want to understand and know, if I'm in this certain situation, what do I get to expect from this? Who are the people that are in this world and how do they show up? Right. So these film design nuggets are all about setting that up. There's a lot of nuance that happens in this. And that's why I've put together this 3-day free training all about film design fundamentals. You can take this and put it right into action with your current project or something that you have coming up down the line. Sign up in the link below. You'll be registered for the free training. And I've got a little bonus coming at you for signing up. It's going to be really fun training. You're going to learn a lot. And I guarantee this stuff is going to change the way you do your work. My goal is to help you become the filmmaker others inspire to be. So let me teach you the tricks and tips that all the great filmmakers know so that you can thrive as a filmmaker, so that you can create the work that gets you noticed. I'll see you in the training.